Yeah, I put the screenshot in there.
Hello and welcome to unusual episode of Token Games Podcast. Today we're just going to talk with a gaming parent about loot boxes and the recent controversy that has been caused behind them. Um, Today we have as a bit of a spectator, Officer General of the Second Super Saiyan Boat, a one, Mr. Cops.
I ain't involved with those sayings.
Could have sworn your hair was blonde. And of course, we have an oldie but a goodie, one of our first members of the podcast returning, which seems to be a theme with all of December since we got like 3 old members back. We have parental figure, the officer to end all Black Hawk officers, the pilot who knows no fear, whose pimp status has no name. A1, Creedus Walker.
Calm down, calm down. You do me too much justice.
Words I thought I would never hear you even try to fathom. Okay, well, it's pretty simple, but just as a refresher, what's been going on recently is that Electronic Arts has been getting the, well, for lack of a better term, spanking in every sense of the word, both from their social perception all the way into their bank accounts and also potential licensing contracts and deals. They've been using loot boxes so heavily in one of their more recent titles that it's started to look predatory to government officials. The way predatory works is it's something that's designed to catch someone and make someone do or think a certain way. Kind of sort of like, oh, if I want to get you, into cocaine, I'm going to tell you how good it feels and I'm going to give you that first shot free. Basically a drug deal. Except this time the drug is gambling. And in most countries, or more specifically United States of America, that's a 21 and up thing. But loot boxes, which is basically the exact same thing as gambling, however digital, still requiring physical and real money, doesn't really have an age restriction. Which is what brought about the loot apocalypse, if you will. Alright, now, let's get into the first topic. Are you comfortable with your child playing loot box games that involve real-world money transactions? Why or why not?
I would have to say no because one, it's a cheap way to go through gaming. I had to grind my ass off to get everything I earned in my games when I was younger. So I feel they should too.
Okay, well, I guess that's short and to the point. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, our next topic. Unless somebody has a rebuttal, but I think a lot of us are pretty much in agreement.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay. Where do you stand with the current perception of loot box as far as being used for gambling or training children to gamble? Do you think it is gambling? Do you think it isn't? Why or why not?
Yeah, I would say in some way, shape, or form it is gambling to an extent because you are taking a risk and getting whatever armor, gear, or weapons, depending on the game you're playing.
Mm-hmm.
You spending real life money just to end up possibly getting some of the same shit that you've already gotten in the game already when you first started.
Not to mention the probability of it being your parents' money is rather high. And even though they could refund these transactions, pretty much if you don't lawyer up or police up, they're not going to do it. A famous example, and I'm curious what you would have done in this situation. The modern era Paul Revere, aka Jack Black, yes, they have the exact same face and build, has quite literally one of the most hilarious and I'm surprised peaceful stories. He gave his child a tablet and he allowed him to get one game on the tablet from the Google Play Store, right? Within one day, his child ran up a $1,000+ microtransaction bill in this game. Now, if that had been your kid, and let's just say mommy wasn't around, how would you have handled that situation? No judging.
I beat his fucking ass.
I find it ironic you say he. Okay, I
There.
mean, hey, I ain't nothing wrong with that. That was my default answer when we had this question with the, non-parental figures. I would just straight up beat the fuck out of them. But after that ass whooping happens, would you try to take any action on the side of, the corporation or anything?
That actually did happen to a friend of mine. His
Okay.
son ran up a bill on a game, and he actually contacted them, and they refunded him all his money.
For the record, though, that's a very rare occurrence.
Oh yeah, I know. Like he was one lucky dude.
Yeah, like I ain't gonna bullshit. But if that game had been made by a Chinese company, then that shit wouldn't have happened. And I know that sounds stereotypical, but again, much like a lot of other things I tell people that I look up the information for, some of the most common games that have, well, not so much microtransactions as addictive based or paywall loot boxing is what I like to call it. When they're made or imported or bought by a Chinese organization, their return policy becomes practically non-existent. Okay. Now, with that being said, now would you try to change anything with the child after that point, or you just ground him and hope he learned his lesson? You're gonna talk to him about it, or what? After they run up that bill.
I mean, that's really the only thing you can do. Whatever corrective action, for lack of better words, that you can do toward this child,
I
whether
get
it
that.
be eating his ass or just sitting him in the corner for the soft parenting that some people do.
Damn. Soft parenting. Hey, well, I mean, you ain't lying. The shit's real. Just like helicopter parenting. Now, this one might be a bit lengthy or, it's a bit of a double prong, but first part is, what do you think can be done to create preventative measures on the government level? And the second part of that is, what do you think can be done to create preventative measures on the parental level? You can answer either one you want to first.
Truthfully, I don't know what really can be done. Like, for instance, when they even started making gory games that show blood or sexual content, they try to put ratings on it and say certain ages can't get this, but we all know that fucking a damn 8-year-old is playing Call of Duty right now and blowing fucking people to pieces. So obviously that's not doing its damn job. Um, all the parents can really do is just keep an eye on what their kids are doing. But then again, kids are going to their friends' houses and playing those same damn games. Like there's nothing you can really do to stop it. It's going to happen. There is always going to be a loophole to get around it.
Interesting. Okay, well, that's the parental level. Well, now, what do you think can be preventative actions as far as on a legislative level?
Aren't they trying to do that in Belgium right now?
They're trying to do that here. They're trying to do it in France, and I believe also Belgium. But if it spreads into Belgium and France, it could eventually be picked up and adopted by the entire EU. Oh, and did I
Truthfully,
mention
I don't know.
EA lost $2 billion off this shit?
Damn. Where do I sign up? I think EA owes me money too.
Well, it hurt them in the one place that they never want to be hit, which was legitimately their bottom line. So when this got popular, word got out that the CEO of Disney called up the CEO of Electronic Arts. You know this wasn't a friendly conversation. So after that happened, within that same week, their stock people pulled out, and they lost the equivalent of $2 billion in revenue.
Damn,
They
that is
got
a
hit
lot.
harder by fucking up microtransactions than they did when they killed studios. And let's just recap. This year alone, they killed 2 studios, BioWare and Visceral Games. The people that brought you Mass Effect, Jade Empire, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and also the people that brought you Dead Space and something else I can't remember. Yeah, they got hit harder when this shit went up to legislation levels than it did anything else they've done in the past 5 years. That's saying something. It really is. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it's saying something. Also, as if we all didn't already know this, just as, I don't know, gamers, the fucking CEO is what I like to call a Sarkeesian, hint hint, when it comes to video games. So he somehow works and has a major control or input, or has the power to have major input on video games, but does not play video games and is not a gamer, making this
Ha-
now the second or third time since the creation and original departure of the owner of Electronic Arts that we've had a CEO or company head who doesn't play video games. Oh, and for the record, just because it could be easily disputed or bullshitted, when I say he doesn't play video games, I mean he does not play video games as a hobby. He may own a system, but I'm sure he's too busy counting his money to sit there and actually play them and have an opinion on them, or, you know, a preferred or favorite game.
Isn't it the same with the current dude running Nintendo?
Yes, but ironically, look how different it turned out. But also, this guy had been on the company board, the executive level, for over 30 years. So he's one of those rare cases where he's got the mix of understanding and empathizing with the gamer, but also business sense that the late, great Satoru Iwata didn't have. That man was smart. He was a good programmer. He was a good coder. He genuinely did like to play video games. However, his business sense was what I like to call a roller coaster. He has good times, good highs, and he has bad times and low lows. So, all respect due to that man. Cancer, unfortunately, like a great many other people, takes people from us too quickly. But unfortunately, by the time he was able to turn around what he had done, it was too late for him. Because the Switch was basically 70% his baby / done by the time, you know, he was going through the throes of cancer. Very unfortunate. Now, I'm gonna just throw this one out there. I'm pretty sure it goes without saying, but you know, from a corporate perspective, Mr. Walker, what do you think the gaming industry / the core companies can do to prevent or do preventative measures for shit like this? Children getting access to gambling, basically.
I guess when creating a game, they can find some type of way to put like a password or a code when it comes to having to purchase those loot boxes.
Mm-hmm.
That's really the only thing I can think of. Because if, like I said, most systems got your credit card information saved automatically, so all you gotta do is click buy.
Okay, well, I definitely appreciate it, and I'm glad you were able to come in and give us your insightful opinion on this. You being someone who actually raises a child, but I'm gonna throw in some bonus questions just because, well, there was some shit you missed out on, but I would love to hear your opinion on it if you got time. But don't worry, you can make the answers as long or short as you want to. So, the House of Mouse finally walked their ass in the fox, and he took off his illogical shorts, and he dick slapped the X-Men out of them, and they said, "Oh my God, please don't ever do that again. Please take our entire entertainment media division instead of just the X-Men." So my question to you is, what you think about to happen next besides, you know, more Marvel movies? You think we got a chance of seeing some like crazy ass X-Men, mutant, Star Wars crossover type Kingdom Hearts looking shit? Or, what do you want to see happen next the most out of the fact that we finally got Marvel all under one very, very unique castle umbrella?
First off, if they had some type of Kingdom Hearts crossover like that, that might be the most epic movie ever fucking made.
Now, don't set your hopes up too high. It'll take forever to make.
No, it won't. Because remember, it's Kingdom Hearts themed, as in it's a bunch of crossover characters. That doesn't mean that they have to go to the Square Enix or the same people that are making Kingdom Hearts to get it made. Because by the time it comes
I
out,
suppose, yeah.
we'll all be in an old folks' home together and trying to play it in co-op.
Hey, don't worry. They can always do what DC does and make the movie 3 or 4 times until it gets good.
And even then, it's debatable.
What? Did you see how many motherfucking movies they make before they make a decent one?
Did you see how many motherfucking shit movies they made before they made something that was passable? Not good, passable. There's a difference.
That is true.
I call it the Zack Snyder effect. He's been making and fucking up superhero movies so long that he's created his own audience. So unlike Uwe Boll, who basically did the same thing with video games, people they associate quality with him, and they shouldn't. Associating quality with Zack Snyder is like associating, regular people sex to an orgy. They're not the same thing. One of them is way, way different. They may look similar, but oh no, they're very different.
That was a good one. That was a good comparison.
Can't tell if you're being sarcastic, but fuck you anyway. Now, in the world of comic books, as you may or may not have heard, Disney has been creating their own canon, or they have dropped the original canon for Star Wars and have created their own, which consists of also in-between stories, in between all the individual movies, or precede all the individual movies, old and new. What do you think the odds are, or how do you think they could possibly incorporate the Star Wars world and mythos into Marvel Comics? How would you do it if you ran Marvel? That's what I'm asking, basically.
Well, if they want to keep fans, they don't want to veer too far off from the original story. With the extra little, I guess, films in between, they could add some stuff, but it can't be too outlandish.
I'm saying describe what you would do, like a comic, a movie tie-in, or like a small animated TV show. Like, what would your project be that shows people, hey, we're incorporating everything?
Shit, it'd have to start out as probably like short films, just to fill it in. Release that shit on Netflix like they've been doing them. Not top dollar movies, but kind of like in between.
Gotta say, they really killing it with Netflix. Like, with the exception of Iron Fist, all their shows are like, I hate to say them, but they're what I like to call mini movie episodes. Like, you won't tell yourself you're gonna binge watch for like an hour, but then you realize, oh shit, that's like one episode, but you're engaged the entire time. By the way,
Please don't bring Fist.
By the way, do you have a preferred, or do you have a favorite Marvel internet show or television show?
That's a hard one, actually.
Right?
I've watched so many within like the past month that I freaking loved and was so mad that it's over right now.
Well, see, that's why you don't binge watch. You watch like 2 or 3 episodes at a time, then you watch the next show once you finish one after the other. You're telling people the problem with binge watching is that since you sat down and watched them all at once, you fuck your brain up, and then you can't remember half the shit that happened in the season.
Like, have you seen the show Mind Hunters on Netflix?
No, but we're focused more on Marvel related ones. So that's Legion, that's Gifted, Runaways, Iron Fist, Punisher, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and of course the Defenders.
Well, the new Punisher I actually kind of liked. I did binge watch the shit out of that. Iron Fist pissed me the fuck off.
Pissed everybody. How the fuck does he only have one glowing hand? They had one job and they did half of it.
I'm still mad he's white.
Iron Fist is white.
They should have made him a little Asian man.
Not even going there. I will say this though. I don't understand why the fuck this dude's volume is so low that I have to actually legitimately readjust my volume just to watch Iron Fist, because this motherfucker's voice, the main character is talking the lowest out of everybody in the entire show. Then I found out after it, this motherfucker is trying to force an American accent because he's not American. Him and fucking Charlie Cox, aka Daredevil, they're actually not American. They're faking the accent. It's just Charlie Cox is better at it. And then why is he always calling himself by his own nickname? Who the fuck does that? I'm Danny Rand, the Iron Fist, protector of Kunlun. Like, your name is Daniel Rand. So why are you saying Danny?
Because it sounds cooler than Daniel.
Kind of. Sort of.
Fucking barely.
Money.
Oh, hey guys, status update. Okay, story time is officially over. I'm just gonna type okay. Anyways. Okay, so you would start it off with a Netflix type miniseries show. Okay. I'd go straight for the jugular, personally. I'm gonna make me a fucking comic where a lightsaber shows up. No one knows how it got there. No one knows whose it is. A lightsaber. And over time, everyone's gonna think it's some character from the Jedi or Star Wars universe. Nope, bitch. It's somebody who is completely left out. He's a Jedi from the far-flung future after everything in Star Wars 1 through 9 happens, and it's just his one lightsaber. But the bad guys got a hold of it first, so they copy the technology.
And it's pink.
What?
And it's pink.
No. So the bad guys got, just because that's your favorite color doesn't mean it's mine. So the bad guys got a hold of it first and duplicated the technology. So now he's staying in the Marvel world, or he's honor bound to fix his problem. So he's alerted the whole entire Jedi collective, like, hey, we got a big problem. There's this planet where they've duplicated lightsabers like identically perfectly, and it's leading to some shit. So now they have access to characters that they can completely make up from scratch without fucking with all the continuity, or they could just have characters who are descendants and lineage from those other characters, and they can come in and try to help. Like, think of it like Shi'ar Empire. The mutants always get into some shit with the Shi'ar Empire. It's like clockwork. Every 5-6 years, knock on that door, tax season, and Shi'ar Empire shows up to do something with the X-Men. Except they keep one character permanent, or possibly two, and you know, they may stray from being a good Jedi to a bad Jedi, or they may just stray from being a Jedi to denouncing the Jedi ways because they fall in love with X character or Y character. But you know, they're staying basically to try to help, and they feel honor bound to try to fix the mess that they did by losing their lightsaber, blah 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 blah. And then it turns out we find out, oh, Jedis are basically just telekinetic mutants, which doesn't fuck with anything because they still have their same abilities as they would, but it's just, oh, now you understand it somewhat better. The Force is telekinetic energy and shit and blah blah blah. There's all types of things you can do. Anything is better than that midichlorian shit. Even I know about that, and I've never seen Star Wars. Like,
what about the
J.J.
Force?
Abrams got ass.
Regular human beings that came in contact with one mutant.
Dude, this all types of ways.
Nah, the Force is cosmic entity.
No, the Force is cosmic energy, but here's the thing. We've seen at least 10 different types of cosmic energy over the history of the Marvel Universe. They basically said that cosmic energy is their escape tool for why people who can do energy blasts, who have powers from space, are different. And it works. So personally, I'm down with it. Like, there's so many ways you can do, but that's just me. What about you, officer? How would you pull it off?
Yeah, in a similar way of what you suggested. A lightsaber just shows up. It's, it shows up, someone uses it, and later on, a dude comes by saying, "Hey, give my weapon back."
And then it turns out that the person who stole it was Mr. Sinister or some shit. That way we make sure we get ourselves some X-Men.
I wouldn't do the mutant angle.
You don't have a choice at this point.
He was a sworn enemy of Apocalypse 1,000 years ago.
Hey, it's possible. They did say that everything in Star Wars happened in ancient times by our time clock standards.
In a galaxy far, far away, yep.
So think about it. Theoretically, if they were to find us, their technology level could rival or be Shi'ar based. In fact, they could say the Jedi have always existed within the Shi'ar Empire. They just didn't say any fucking thing because there was no point. The Jedi are a religious group, so they're not going to be in the war. They're not going to be warriors and stuff for the Shi'ar Empire, because the Shi'ar Empire, as much as they give shit to the mutants, they're actually pretty civilized. So they're not going to force a religious person to go and, kill people. It's real
Or
easy.
maybe it's just a matter of the Jedi are, even, then, a very, very rare.
Yeah, or either they like to hide a lot, like some space version of the Illuminati. But everyone hates them not because they're assholes and they won't teach people. They hate them because if they teach you, you can't be around or connected to your family, some shit like that. And you have to avoid any and all space-based conflicts, even though people say they could end these conflicts that much faster, blah, 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 blah. And they got the perfect excuse. Every time we've been involved in something, we either cause a war or we were instrumental in making it worse. So why fuck with anything?
Or we'll abuse the power given to us for our own
eventually
ends.
Someone will abuse the power, which creates more
Because
Sith,
the Jedi totally
conflicts.
did that.
Dude, the whole point is that they have the perfect excuse to be hidden. They're OP, and all they do is amplify a situation. Oh yeah, you won this war, but guess what? Now this entire planet has been genocided. Oh, you won the war, but guess what? Now this entire race of people wants to do nothing but kill your entire species off in secret little mini conflicts and skirmishes throughout the galaxy. Like, they have the perfect excuse and the perfect weapon. But anyways, let's just bring this to a close. All right, so we don't know how the legislation is going to roll the dice. A lot of video game companies, they're trying to save face, which is fucking stupid, instead of just admitting it and saying, oh, this isn't gambling. They're completely different. But it doesn't matter at this point, because when the governor goes around, calls other governors and senators and representatives and tells them, yo, this is a legitimate problem, here's how it works, and everyone comes to the same conclusion, you can only bullshit so much. And a lobbyist isn't going to do shit, because a lobbyist has no effect on this, because this isn't a presidential rule. This isn't a Supreme Court rule. It's a state legislation rule. Now, if it does go up to the federal level, that just means it'll be everywhere. But since every single goddamn governor and representative is being called up by Hawaii, our smallest state, it's going to have the biggest impact and be that much faster and be that much harder to get rid of. So, we'll keep this updated, and hopefully we get some good news, especially since, net neutrality is fucking dead officially. And I'll keep you guys posted. All right, this has been another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast, but not really podcast, just fucking around. I will see you guys when I see you guys.